Hey, how you doing? Sean Tech here. Welcome back to the show. So one of my neighbors has a daughter that's that is the same age and same name actually as my daughter, and she was out and she thinks she found something incredible, and I actually kind of agree with her in a lot of ways. She thinks she found what's called a fossil. Now, a fossil is, in terms of geological science, when an animal or a plant or something that has some degree of texture, it can even be like something like a piece of cloth or something like that. It could be a whole variety of different things. When it essentially is trapped, if you will. Like, for instance, say you leave something out on the beach and it just gets buried underneath sand and then buried underneath more sand and then buried underneath, keeps on getting buried underneath sand. It just keeps going down and down and down. And so eventually, the sand starts to kind of pressurize. And sand actually plays a pretty big part because I don't know if you know this. Sand is made out of an elemental compound molecule called silicon dioxide, which actually accounts for a little bit over 28% of all the materials within the Earth's crust. We actually have a lot of sand. Silicon dioxide is the same thing that's like regular old glass is made out of, is essentially the right way to phrase it. So if you take a look at sand, it looks like little tiny particles. But if something gets trapped in between it and eventually keeps on getting, pushed down and pushed down, it starts to have a little bit of some pressure. And what it does is it forms a little bit uh, of a shell around the thing that's being trapped, like the bug or the leaf or the dinosaur or the whatever it happens to be, and it has to have something that's going to last kind of through a while. And even then, it does. I mean, it doesn't have to necessarily last. But the thing is, later on, if this chunk of sand, which has now actually been pressurized so much, turns into like a rock or some sort of another kind of structure, what's left behind is an imprint of what that thing was, kind of like carved into the rock, is more or less what it is. I used to think fossils were really cool. In particular, dinosaur fossils I thought were really cool. I really wanted to, at one point in my life, be an archaeologist because I was like, we get to find dinosaur bones. What kid doesn't like dinosaur bones, And then, of course, you saw Indiana Jones, and like most kids were sold like archaeology is really cool. And then you take a class, and you're like, oh, it's a lot of reading that I have to go through before I'm not just allowed to go out with a pickaxe and a hat and a leather jacket and a whip and go out into the desert and go find really cool things. So that's too bad. But anyway, what my neighbor's kid found was something that when I first saw it, I was like, that's a really cool skipping stone. And then she was like, look closer at it. And I did. And I see things. I see little things that are imprinted into here. Under the true belief, I think this actually may have some fossil records that may be worth looking at, that definitely are worth looking at, and making a video on YouTube all about. So, without further ado, let's take a look at what this looks like underneath the microscope. So let me get this foot underneath here. And whoa, that's really neat. Is that the side I wanted to start with? I think both sides actually have certain degrees of what I would call fossils. Whoa, yeah, there it is. Okay, there it is. I'm going to turn up the light source just a little bit. Wow, focus in. Whoa. Whoa, that's pretty neat. Now, let me grab something I can kind of point with here. Up in these parts over here, these couple parts right there, there's definitely something that looks like it was like a potato bug or something like that. Some sort of like a bug with a shell of some, like a beetle of some kind. It looks like there's actually kind of a couple of them located throughout here, which is really kind of interesting. Let's take a closer look, and I'm going to use a couple of different light sources so that we can get a look at it. Let's start with the one that's all the way on the left. Wow, that is so cool. That is so cool. What is that? I mean, looking at this kind of from afar, you can tell there's little tiny ridges that are going along here. Now, there's a couple of shiny, sparkly spots. You see, like this spot right there, and that spot right there. I mean, what you're looking at, you wouldn't have seen this, without the aid of a microscope. You can really kind of tell that this looks a lot like just compressed sand, is what it looks like. I mean, take a look at that. Take a look at this up close at 50x or 30x magnification. Sorry, this is at 30x magnification. This kind of looks like the beach when you look at it, you know? It looks like it has that like kind of that texture and that complexion of beach sand. And that's really in reality what a lot of rocks are, is just, you know, compressed materials that are made out of dirt and beach that are eventually just harden and form up compact parts together. That is really, really kind of cool. Zoom in kind of all the way up there. Wow, look at that. Yeah, turn up the light a little bit. That is really, really neat. That is really, really neat. And I'm looking up this part right there. So like there are like little tiny, I don't know if you can see there. There are little tiny ridges that are here. This looks like it may have been touching like the top of like a beetle shell. Like this is the part that was actually clam shelled up on the top part of it. Is more or less what that is. And that's somewhat hard to tell using this light source. So what I'd like to try, I'm going to turn on a side profile light source and see if I can't capture these things a little bit better. That still doesn't quite get it, and that's a lot of red right now. That's because my light source is very, very red overall on how it looks. That's really almost not helping at all. Let's play around with my settings just a little bit here. Yeah, kinda. It's my little bit of there with the gamma. And try to increase the gain. Now it's hard to get these textures to show up. It's really hard to get these textures. So let me zoom out just a little bit more. Let me actually take a look at maybe one of the other ones, because this one over here definitely has some ridge-like features on it. It makes me wonder what this was. That's what I always thought was cool about archaeology, is like you're trying to piece together what something kind of looks like after it's been gone for thousands to maybe even millions of years, and all you're left back with is an imprint of what this thing may have looked like for the most part, you know? So in this one here, in this top one, you can kind of make out a couple of things. I don't know if this side profile light's really helping that much. Let me turn up my other light source again and turn down the side profile one. Side profile meaning that like the light source, I've got a light that's basically shining like almost at an angle at the rock. So it's able to sometimes produce a little bit better features to it. Yeah, I can see it in the microscope. I can see it in the lenses. There are definitely in the lower left quadrant of what it is that I'm looking at, like this area that's down here, there's definitely like some ridges that are there. Let me take a little bit of a closer look. Let me see if I can't change some of the settings to get these things to show up. So I'm going to reduce down the gamma and then increase up the digital gain. Yeah, that kind of lets them show up there, but not really. Not really. Let's just try increasing gamma by itself. How about we lower it down a whole bunch and then increase the gain? That looks like the sun now. So that doesn't look very good in terms of what that's supposed to look like there. Nope, not at all. Not at all. So let's turn down the gain, turn back up the gamma just a little bit. Now I still don't kind of see anything with it there. No, not anything on that one right there. So there's a couple of little things on that side. One of the things you can really tell that looks pretty interesting is the just the whole particulated areas of the rock. The fact that like there's so much sand in terms of like and other little tiny pieces that, I mean, when you zoom in, when you look at it far away, this just looks like any regular old rock. But when you zoom in into it close, there's really almost a modeled look of what this kind of looks like with all the different pieces to it. That really is kind of cool in a lot of ways too. Let's turn the dude over here and see what other things are on the other side of it. Now on the other side, man, I don't know what was here. There is something. You're looking at this through my camera, and it definitely looks like there was something there of some sort. Looking underneath the microscope, yeah, especially like right up here. This little part right here looks like a wing of some sort. You see that? I don't know if you can see that. This looks like this little area right here Looks like it's some sort of like a bug wing of some sort. Pretty big one too. That would make like a really large sized bug. What would that be? Either that, it's either a wing or it's a leaf of some sort. Yeah, you see it? Do you see it in there? You see all the little, you see all, woo, it's so cool. You see all the little piece parts to it. See all those? All these little parts there. There was definitely something stuck in here at some point. I'm not sure what that is or what it is. What do you all think it is? I mean, hey, I can't be the only person that was interested in dinosaur bones growing up. What do you think this is? If you think you know what's left and imprinted in the inside of that of this fossil rock right here, leave a comment down in the comment below if you think what this is. Look at that. Look at how cool that looks. Whoa. So there are a lot of wave-like ridges in this particular area right here. That leads me to think that this is definitely either, I mean, like, and again, I'm no expert. I'm an electrical engineer. I make light bulbs turn on. This is something that's outside of my science, but it's still pretty cool to look at. I mean, I would think I'm going to approach this like I would any situation with a simple thing. This looks like either a bug or a rock. Or, I mean, a bug or a leaf is what it is. Either a bug or a leaf. I'm not sure which one it is. Wow, that is up in the upper part there is a large piece of silicon. I mean, it's not large. I mean, there's the tip of my tweezers in terms of how big. But there's all kinds of small structures with that part. That is really, really something else. What a unique specimen. What a cool thing just to be able to, like, find in your backyard, you know? What a really, really neat thing to be able to do there. Oh, that is so cool in terms of what that looks like. That is so cool. Zoom in one last time to kind of another area. Wow. That is really neat. That is really, really neat. What a great find. Thank you. Thank you so much for being able to find this. Hey, anyone out here, you got something in your yard? You got something in your house, my house you want me to find? Let me know. I'd like to be able to put it underneath the microscope and make a little video, see what we find in there. So let me know if you've got any other things. Leave a comment down in the comment below, and we'll see you around on the next video on here, okay? Bye-bye.